Alright everybody, welcome back to Nier. So as you can see, I'm not where I left you guys. I'm out in the... Whoa, okay. That I was not expecting. Oh. Alright, cool. What a way to start the episode. Get attacked by a bunch of shades and get a new word. And pow! Ooh, a magic drop. Get wrecked, buddy. I was not expecting that, holy shit. So what I did is I went and did some grinding in the junk heap, upgraded my Beast Bane. It is now level 2. And it's still the best weapon I have. Like, none of these other weapons, even if they were upgraded to level 2, would surpass it. So it's kind of pointless to really do much with them. But anyway, so I did that, got a whole bunch of raw materials and stuff, and leveled up a little bit. Yeah, so now we're going to the Forest of Mystery, I think it's what it's called. Mysterious Forest? Forest of Mystery? It's called one of those things. And this is an interesting place, and this is going to be an interesting episode if... Well, I don't really know how long what I have to do here is going to take. You know, I haven't timed it out or anything like that. But the thing about the forest is that whenever you come here, whenever the story sends you here, you engage in a very dialogue-heavy series of scenes. But they're not even really dialogue. They are just narrative, like I was telling you before. So, real bright and talkative, Popola. Oh, did she tell us these people were bright and talkative? And I will fully admit that this is not a place that I ever really fully understood, even in the course of my previous playthrough. I think Nier is one of those games that you really have to play through several times in order to fully get it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you guys don't know yet, if you haven't played the game, that I know. But I don't know everything. Like I do for, like, Final Fantasy VII. Like, I could explain that game to anybody, but... Beware the words. Words? What do you mean? Contagious. Oh, goodness. Those who dream. Hold on a moment. There's a strange new sensation in my mind. Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way. It is not quizzical. What's going on here? Villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes. Perhaps we should start by asking this man. Who are you? I'm Broman Dude. This is Vice. We heard something happened in this village, so we came to see if we could help. Villager stared at Broman Dude and Vice. If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream. How's that again? Villager explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream has spread across the Forest of Myth. Forest of Myth, that's what it's called. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. My village mayor had determined that the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. Vice stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly. Now see here, he said, are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream? Well, yes, said the mayor. I think you have. Oh, crap, said Broman Dude. So that means we're caught? That means we've caught the Death Dream? Before the mayor could confirm Broman Dude's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage. Ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep. The mayor attempted to take Vice's complaints in stride. That's just how the Death Dream works, he said, brushing aside the book's remarks. My remarks shall not be brushed aside, fool, and it would behoove you to remember that this world allows me to view all of its narration. The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, and then quickly changed the subject to who Broman Dude had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village. Something must have caused you to enter my dream, said the mayor. A certain conversation, a specific word, something. Broman Dude and Vice racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations. Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations. The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride. It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gas bag of a narrator. It has demolished it utterly. Irritated, Vice looked skyward as if searching for the answers in the heavens. I was doing no such thing, leave me alone already. Anger created by his harsh words bled over to Broman Dude like a contagion. Wait, said Broman Dude suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with a renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. Well, he must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words, what was it? It was about dreaming, or something that dreams, or... oh, what the hell was it? A sheep? Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Broman Dude's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said. Those who dream, that's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Broman Dude. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month I've done nothing but study the disease we call the Death Dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along. But I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping it off at the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said, to no one in particular, and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want to be whole again. I want us to be free. The mayor's voice took on a note of steely determination, and I won't stop trying until it happens. Broman Dude nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod. Why are you... Look, if we can be of any help, said Broman Dude, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Silence, cried Vice. The Grimoire looked from Broman Dude to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us nothing that can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet you seem surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my god, you're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. You can imagine an exit, and then it must be so. With your permission, we shall seek it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called at the departing forms of Broman Dude and Vice. We're all counting on you. As Broman Dude slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of deja vu. I saw this man once before, he thought, but where? Broman Dude's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and the moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once, he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Broman Dude to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Broman Dude snapped. You know what, Vice? He cried. Go to hell. We're stopping. I need to rest for a few minutes before I throw up. Broman Dude leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so goddamn big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. As if infuriated by his lack of respect, every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out with a volume that rattled his teeth. Broman Dude slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Vice, what the hell is going on? Broman Dude could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insect screamed, the forest howled, and then just as Broman Dude's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, Broman Dude removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zree, 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 zree. Shaka-ka-ka-ka, shaka-ka-ka, shaka-ka-ka. Chiki, 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 chiki. Wooma, wooma. Shik, 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 blah, blah, blah. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Broman Dude began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't calling out, they were asking a question. 1 with it suffers. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. This kind of thing happens a lot in dreams, right? Maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I leave it to you to answer. 1 with it suffers. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. Interesting. I'm pretty sure it's a secret, but one thing I remember about the Forest of Myth is that if you answer a question wrong at the end of one of these long narration sequences, it can make you start over and look at the whole thing again. So, in the interest of avoiding that, I am going to look this up real quick. Okay, I was right. It's a secret. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Broman Dude sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Right? The sound of insects stopped as suddenly as it began, and the forest undergrowth parted before Broman Dude like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Broman Dude moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest has accepted us, huh? Said Broman Dude after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Broman Dude picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now I answer it. Broman Dude grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst forth from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I've never seen such a sight. Perhaps I misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey look, cried Broman Dude, awaking Vice from his daze. There is a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Broman Dude walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Broman Dude, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3. What am I? I tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing here, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yeah, I suppose, Broman Dude. Well, at least it's an easy one. This is the Sphinx riddle. It's man. Correct. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Broman Dude. A small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor you know, now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. You saw what? I'm sorry. I don't understand a thing you just said. It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the man at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Broman Dude watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Broman Dude and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. Good gravy, he cried. You made it. You actually made it back. His left hand grasped Broman Dude's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. Gah! By the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not. The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you ever again. Broman Dude withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. We broke the death dream seal, he said. At least, I think we did. The mayor's face beamed as Broman Dude filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the 3 of them laid down on the forest and fell asleep. Wait a second. That's crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep? This is one hell of a story. Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself. Broman Dude and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. Have you forgotten? Continued Vice. It is words that control the death dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue. With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breaths slowing. This is the first time, began the mayor, the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here. His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Broman Dude shook the mayor's shoulder gently. "Good news," he said. "We made it." "Oh, wow," said the mayor in an odd voice. "We did. I'm back." He blinked once, twice, as though not quite believing the sight before him. "You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream had started to spread through our village, and I wanted to, well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream." The mayor started to stand and then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, and then glanced at Broman Dude and shrugged. Without a word, the fighter reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to. A wry smile crossed the mayor's lips. "You shall relearn in short order, I am sure," said Weiss. "For now, you should return to your home and rest." "No," said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. "No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them." The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. "This is a holy tree," he explained when the prayer was finished. "It's the guardian of our village history and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder," muttered Weiss. "We should not put our faith in the gods." The mayor shook his head. "Not the gods, words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as the Sealed Verse." Broman Dude and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. "I say," muttered Weiss, "this is certainly a stroke of luck." And the three of them said their goodbyes. Broman Dude mentioned a strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. "I once saw a version of you that was not yourself," muttered the mayor. "What in the world?" Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. "You know," he said softly, "this is going to sound weird, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too." Broman Dude tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's some kind of illusion created by the death dream. Probably doesn't mean anything. "Oh, but it does." Broman Dude gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. I wish I understood what the hell was going on here. The riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all. "Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to our normal life. This is one of the most bizarre diseases I've ever encountered. I know, that's why I have to help the other villages no matter what." Dark execution. Someone's magical... Ooh, lovely. Okay, so that's a lot of fucking talking to have done there. So I'm gonna cut out here while I just give my voice a break. And I think there's more of these that we have to go through. And I think I might just let you read them to yourself. Although, I don't know, that's kind of shitty, because like if anyone ever watches this but they're not watching it, they're just listening, then it'll be useless. So I guess I'll have to read it. Anyway, so I'm just gonna take 5 here real quick. Alright. Got a nice little break. Got my whistle wet. I guess it's all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone's guy. Hey, think you think too much, Weiss. Okay, so there's 2 other people we have to talk to, and 2 more stories to go through. And I'm actually fairly certain that one of them is actually interactive. Let's see, there's a man and a woman. That must be the man. And this must be the woman. So we will we'll start with the woman. This must be another person infected by the death dream. It would appear that way, yes. Yes. Please don't tell me we have to go back in there. I'm no good at this mind game crap. I'd rather hit something in the face and be done with it. Getting on with the mission. Yeah. Alright. I breathe the air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked under a stairway in the long, unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that seems without end. Light has no place here, one is but a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in the single tick of the clock. Someone knocks in my prison. Hey, is anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say, my savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired man in a floating book. Before the light pours inside, my eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is Broman Dude. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, Stan. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Broman Dude extends his massive hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear the rain again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my feet and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know that you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Huh? Okay. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gaseous canopy beds resting atop a carpet of velvet, all covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I see the outlines of the door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch the piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies onto a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know, and sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound. Whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. Squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. Squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. North. At the end of the path, waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually I can stand. The sight of the water is no longer, and I turn my eyes upward, imagining my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on a faded plastered wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. These styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people have lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It is constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands, yet as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner, a fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting, and inside I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. This poor soul is long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough. Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the Squint down the dim corridors, proceed south. East. End of the path, find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head. But as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. The once splendid feast is now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs proved to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Against all hope, we made it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Broman Dude and Gwynmar Weiss, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way and we find ourselves sprawled in front of the castle. The storm is in retreat, the clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you, I cry, as tears rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Weiss. Then you are a woman, madam? Yes, I am. I proffered the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Broman Dude is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. With a nod and shrug, the three of us are set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. Fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good as we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have been awakened to their new life as shades. Alright, that seems like a good place to cut this episode. So, we're mostly done with the Forest Myth. I'm sorry if anyone has found this episode particularly boring. Believe me, my jaw hurts from flapping my gums so much, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut here, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. And, yeah. Later.